Yeah. At first, we are a dynamic group. Our group have a member Huỳnh Tiến Đạt, Trương Anh Đạt, Hoàng Nguyễn Ngọc Nhi, Đặng Kiều Phương Nhi, Đinh Văn Tường Vũ, Nguyễn Văn Vinh, Lê Thị Tuyết Mai, Hoàng Phương Ngân. Next là um, the Rubik's analysis. We have a five part and include the critics, graph content, data analysis, attractive, and retivity. Each each return will be worth 5 pounds. We would like to present a power analysis report data and the reason why we choose this data. Next. Um, Table of contents. We have one introduction, two, three finding, three, two analysis comparison, for collusion and subtraction. The reason I choose data is because math score, reading score, and writing score data show that a student score based on other related variables have a good data. For example, the variable quickly study hours, so the student will spend 5 to 10 hours, or more than 10 hours. Student will have a score of 100 for 1 hour of 3 subjects. Therefore, we choose data to representation to grab all the qualitative and quantitative correlations of efficiency. Finally, they are a dashboard. In data age, they will be 14 variable, including one gender of student, male or from female, to any group of student group A to E. This ethnic group, they will be a five group, including ABCD, three parent educations for learn Thai, five tech presentation score, and to equip clean with the skill and strategy needed to perform well on the specific valuation. Six, parent material stated. Seven parties sport. A effort to nine number of siblings the student have a 0 to 7. The mean number of siblings for any number of students have a distribution of the same self strongly quiz at a distribution for individual student. 10 transport mean 11 weekly study hours, tell math score 13 reading score, 14 writing score. Uh, and on the next slide, we have a full and written presentation for a number of the discipline session.
Number of siblings. Now I will present this slide. First, let's look at the distribution of siblings from the table with green background heading. I can see the most people in the survey group have between 1 and 3 siblings. Most remarkable, the number with one sibling, which account for 27% of the total. So this is a common family model. And now look at the statistic in the calculation of number of sibling table. The mean is 2.08, showing that the family with about 2 children are most common. The median and mode are 2 and 1 respectively. For supporting the idea, the most people have fewer siblings. To sum up, the table and statistics provide a better understanding of the distribution of sibling size in a modern society. As families with fewer children become more common, this trend could have major implications for future social policy and family planning. About next slide, it's about count of math score. Look at the table. The table shows math score with a mean of 59.91, and a median is about 60, and a mode is about 64, indicates that scores are centered around 60, and the range is 83, showing a significant spread of score. While the standard deviation is about 23.67, suggesting a moderate level of variability. The data implies that most students score around the average, which feel short scoring extremely high or low. From the data, we realize that the teaching system may be suitable for students with average score, but need to change the way teaching is appropriate for students with low math score and students with high score. The goal is to close this gap in score by providing more resources, supporting students with low math score, ensuring that all students have opportunity to develop and match their ability. And next presentation is about
So I will tell you about the cow riding. The graph show that the mean is 16 and the median is 61 and the mode is 74. So this graph have a little left scale, and next we can see the rank of the between the lowest score and highest score is 85, which is so that is the rank very wide, and this shows the diversity sort of huge difference in knowledge between students and a variable and standard deviation. This value show a lot dispersion in the sort, that is the source not highly concentrated around the mean but have lot fluctuation. Next we'll look at the graph. We go peak the peak around 60 to 75 score, and for 75 to 90 point they will slightly degree. And then one thing special is that from 90 score to 100 score is increasingly with 68 students. And next I will analyze the reading score. The reading score show correlation with writing skill, because we can see the parameter from mean and median. Most rank is and variance is also the same with writing score. In conclusion, writing score and reading score is also, there are some students who score very high, but I have a lot of students is like knowledge and skill. So this is a make some students have a low score. This may require special attention for teacher and school to support weaker for student. So the next is thing that will introduce you about something in the next.
Uh, in this section, we dive deeper into data by conducting two key analyses. First, we will talk about distribution of two quantitative variables. This will help us understand the central tendencies, spread, and shape of these variables. Next, we will compare two quantitative variables. This will allow us to examine the relationship between these categorical variables. To facilitate future exploration, we will also provide an objective slicer. It will enable to compare specific observation of all group within the data. To quantify the relationship between two suitable variables, we will calculate the correlation coefficient. This metric will measure the strength and direction of the linear relationship between the variable. Finally, we will highlight three meaning findings for dataset. The insight will summary the key takeaway from our analysis and help us understand the trend and pattern mentioned in the data. So next, Ngân will tell us about the true graph of a quantitative.
Yeah, in this part, I provide two histogram to clearly describe about the distribution of mass core. From the histogram, we can observe the flowing. Firstly, distribution. The mass core flow a roughly normal distribution with central peak and symmetrical tail. This shows that students have quite a lot of average score but few weak and good score. Secondly is central tendency. The peak of the histogram indicates that the most common mass score is around 60 to 68. And finally is skewness. The distribution is slightly skewed to the left, meaning there are a few lower scores that pull the tail to the left side. And we can compare from the second graph. Um, Mascot, this histogram provides a direct representation of the frequency of its mascot. This allows us to see which scores are most common and how the scores are distributed. Count score is so the cumulated count score, providing a sense of how many students achieve score below the established threshold. And from the evaluation, we can infer that the majority of students perform well on the math exam, with score clustering around the average. There are a moderate rate of score, indicating some variation in performance, and small of numbers students achieve lower score, leading a slight left skew in the distribution. And Ngọc Nhi will continue this presentation. Thank you.
So now I will present about the graph of two uh, qualitative variables. There are two visualizations about qualitative variables to make the analysis easier. This pie chart illustrates the relative frequency of different levels of parental education. The bar graph compares the relative frequency of each parent education level among different ethnic groups. From the charts, we can observe that the most common level of parental education is some college with a relative proportion, followed by some high school. Group C of ethnic groups has the highest number of students, uh, 925 students, followed by Group D with 690 students, and a better relationship between parental education and ethnic group. The bar chart shows the distribution of different levels of parental education among different ethnic groups. For example, Group C has a higher proportion of students whose parents have higher levels of education than Group E. And at some college level, the number of students in Group C whose parents have that level is 219, while the number of students in Group E is 156. Based on these observations, we can infer that there is a diversity in the level of parental education among students, leading to a differentiation between student scores. Uh, and the distribution of parental education is uneven across ethnic groups, suggesting potential differences in educational attainment among parents and among students. And from here, we will continue the presentation with Liza.
Phương Nhi bị mute tiếng rồi, bị mute tiếng.
Okay. The latter quick answer you allow you interactively filter the data based on the selected category of the test repair and the parent edu. By selecting different combinations of the categories, you can observe how the chain of distribution of math reading, writing score with the number of students who have test repair and how parent education affects student score. So the first is the um, effect on the chart index score between the test repair and the score of math, reading, and writing. Users measure to estimate the number of students who have the test preparation and how it impact on the score. For example, if I have selected the completed for pet repair table, I can see that the score of all three subjects tended to trend differently compared to when I selected not. And the subject that completing step repairs shows that the role the positive impact on the result of the subject that student will take. And the second table is the second slicer between the parent edu and the student performance. Use the slicer to estimate how different level of parent education affects student performance in all three subjects. I might find that students with parents who have the higher education level tend to have the higher score, and most of them have in Group C. From the agency, parent education have had a big impact on the score of these students. Based on lecture, I and our can draw conclusion about the impact of the pretest study and the parent education on student achievement. So the next slide is Trinh Đạt will talk next.
Okay, so in this section, I have created two charts with two scatter plot that visualize the relationship between reading score and writing score, math score and writing score, because the score is the most important result reflecting the lesson level of the student. From the scatter plot and the provide correlation coefficient, we observe the following. First is reading score and writing score. The scatter plot show a strong positive linear relationship between reading and writing score. The points are closely around straight line, suggesting that students who perform well in reading rank to also perform well in writing. The correlation coefficient of 0.95117 confirm this strong positive relationship. And next is the math score versus writing score. The scatter plot also show a positive linear relationship, math and writing score, but it is not as strong as the relationship between reading and writing. The point more scatter compare the pivot plot, the correlation coefficient of 0.803 indicate a moderately strong positive relationship. Based on my observation, I can infer that there is a strong positive correlation between reading and writing score, suggesting that students who excel in the subject are likely to excel in the other. There is a moderately strong positive correlation between math and writing score, indicating that students who perform well in math tend to also perform well in writing. But the relationship is not as strong as the one between reading and writing. So next is about the three meaning of the data I will show us about this.
In the next part, I will talk about the three meaningful findings of the data that my group chose to analyze. The content include the meaningful findings of two graphs of math score, two graphs between parent education and ethnic group, correlation coefficient, and based on the previous analysis, I would like to show you some possible meaningful findings that could be highlighted in the Excel. The first one is distribution. The math score follow a roughly normal distribution with a central peak and symmetrical tails. And the second is central tendency. The most common math score is around from 60 to 68. And about a spread, there is a moderate spread of scores indicating some variation in performance. And the last one is the skewness. The distribution is slightly skewed to the left, suggesting a few lower scores. Next, we will move to the parent education and ethnic group analysis. There are two analyses about this one. First, we will come to relationship. There is a relationship between parental education and ethnic group, with certain groups having higher proportions of students with particular parental education levels. And the second one is disparities. The distribution of parent education levels is not uniform across ethnic groups, suggesting the potential disparities in educational attainment. And the third is correlation coefficient analysis. About reading and writing score, a strong positive correlation was found between reading and writing score, indicating that students who excel in one subject are likely to excel in the other. And the last one is math and writing score. A moderately strong positive correlation was found between math and writing scores, suggesting a less strong but still positive relations. And the next part will be presented by Trung Đạt.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about two analysis and comparison. So basically, this is the total dashboard that our group has been done for the data AI. So I found that the correlation coefficient is very interesting in the dashboard that we have combined here, which display quantitative, qualitative, and correlation data. This is due to the fact that as is what analyzed in the previous correlation coefficient slide and the image that we have included here. You can see a bit of contraction when some students have lower score in reading but higher score in writing. However, students have score that are balanced on both sides in this middle range, which demonstrate the distribution of student topic aptitude in this more clear and conscious manner. Okay, so the last part gonna be about conclusion and suggestion. Then that will present about this.
with the suggestions based on the analysis, we have some recommendations for data that my team have analysis. One, remote parental involvement. Develop program in initiative, encourage parents to become more involved in their children's education. This course include workshop, parent teachers, converse, and opportunities for parents to volunteer in the lab room. To upgrade gender-based learning gap, implement strategy to address specific gender-based learning gap, subject providing target support for girls in a subject where they may be underrepresented. To support students from disadvantaged background, provide additional research for support for students for disadvantaged socio-economic background to help them overcome challenge and achieve their academic potential. For investigate the impact of the tech reparations, conduct a more in-depth analysis to explore the factors that may improve the uh, effectiveness of the tech reparation score. Consider a variable subtract the time of tech reparations, the duration of the score, and individual characteristics of the student, and for address disparities in parent education, explore the reason behind the difference in parent education level across any group. Consider implement program or initiatives to improve education opportunity and support for parents from a disadvantaged background. The last conclusions inclusion or analysis review that student academic achievement in inclusive by complex interplay or factors, individual characteristics such as motivation and student habit play a significant role. Additionally, external factors like paternal education, family dynamics, and gender difference also impact student performance. They finding highlight the importance of the addresses multi-phase approach to improving student outcome by fostering pastoral involvement, reaching target support for gender-based learning gap, and addressing broader uh, societal factor. We can reach a more equitable and supportive learning environment for our students. Thank you for my questions.